Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us from. Thank you so much for being here with us. Today, we are about to have part two of our wonderful financial clinic that Hannah, the financial coach, has been taking us through. We really want to thank you for your time here with us. And we pray that you're going to be blessed just as we were blessed last week. If you haven't caught what we talked about last week, we went through how your incomes, how to plan through your income, how to know what percentage to give where, and how to honor your parents, how to plan your life really through your finances. Today, she's about to give us more nuggets. And I just want to thank you, Hannah, for being here with us. We don't take it for granted. And we are eager to learn from you. So thank you, Hannah. Karibu. And welcome, everyone. And in case you have not joined us before, please hit the subscribe button, like, share, call everyone, let them learn from us or from Hannah rather on everything to do with finances. Karibu sana Hannah.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers. Good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are. Today we're in Nairobi, Kenya. It's 7 o'clock, and happy to be here to teach you guys more about your personal finances. And today we're going to concentrate on retirement saving and planning for your children's university fees. And I'll be able to explain why those particular topics are very important to you. So, um, take it away. Let me be able to share with you. Please have a notebook. There's a lot to learn. And let that be an opportunity for you to also ask questions in the comment sections. Feel free to ask questions. And I'm happy to be here. I've been doing this for the last 16 years. And it's my passion and great honor to teach individuals, groups, corporates about personal financial planning. Because at the end of the day, after you have worked the number of years you've worked in your organization, what you remain with at the end of the day is what you have been able to save and invested to be able to take care of you in your sunset years. So let's hear more. Today, I want to introduce you to the generations of money and the four generations that your money depends on. And these are the people who are being taken care of by every single coin that you have. You need to understand that anytime that you have money, it's not only for you. As you can see here, they are the old people. You can see children from the slide. You can see them, and everyone is jolly, happy, and gracious. Now, you need to understand that the first generation that your money takes care of is a generation of your parents. Honor your father and mother in the Lord, for this is right. It's very important to honor your father and mother. As we touched on in the previous session, that 5% should go towards honoring our parents. It is not about paying back, it's about honor, it's about blessing them, it's about being a good son, being a good daughter. So it's very important. It's very important for your sake, for you to be able to protect and honor your parents as much as you can to the boundaries of 5% of your finances. However, you should try and incorporate the same to your siblings so that they can be able to be together with you. In addition to that, you're supposed to take care of your own generation. That is, let there be food in your own household. And that will be able to also bring you honor in the society when your children and yourself are taken care of and your spouse and the people in your household. The third generation that you take care of with your finances are your own children. You're supposed to leave an inheritance to them that will not only help them in their time before they become adults, but also when they become grown-ups, to leave something for them to be able to carry on. And then the fourth generation that's supposed to take care of through your wealth is the fourth generation. That's are your grandchildren. You're supposed to take care of your grandchildren. Why? Because your grandchildren are able, they're able to get a foundation from you, from whatever you have been able to keep, so that you are the one who is able to break the generation challenges of finances. Right now, you see there's an old man and an old lady. These are people who have been able to work. These are people who have been able to work and have been able to take care of their resources, and now they're enjoying what they have been able to keep aside in their active years. Now, finances are in two ways. We have active years. Active years are the years where you're working from 8 to 5. Those are your active years, and you have an employment income or a business income if you're into business. Those are your active years. Then, ideally, the international retirement age is 55 years. So, when you reach the age of 55, you ideally start reducing. If you're already in a active employment income, you start now being advised to start preparing for retirement or retirement riches, depending on the organization that you're working with. Usually, retirement starts at 50 globally, then it goes to 60, then it goes to 65, depending on the ages that you're in. So remember that life is short, time is fast moving. Start saving now for your retirement. As you work with me as a coach, you realize that I often will be able to be reminding you about the life cycle of your own self. That is important for you to know on what stage of your life you're in, so that you can be able to be better advised to plan for it adequately. There's no option to replay. Time is moving, so prepare for it adequately. Now, it's very important for you to know when you're supposed to retire. If it's at the age of 55, start understanding how long you have to go. If your current age is x number of years minus 55, how long do you have till retirement? Why this is important for you to know is so that you can plan, and your planning will be advised by how long you have. If you have few years, you'll have to plan extra, and you have to sacrifice more so that you can be able to cater for the few years that are remaining to create some passive income for your sunset years. And why do we need to create some retirement savings? Why? You'll realize in your retirement years you will have insufficient not insufficient but reduced active income, meaning you'll have to eat from what you have saved and invested, so that you can create passive income for you to enjoy. And this passive income, you may put it in form of an annuity. You can get an annuity, or you could have had some business or some treasury bills, treasury bonds, or endowment policies that are able to pay you a good amount of money to be able to cater for your retirement. Now, you need to understand that we plan for a century, plan for 100 years. If you retire at 55, for example, you have 45 years that is waiting for you to cater for it. And that catering for it is from what you have been saving through your active employment years. So you will need this money to do what? You need to take good health care for yourself. You realize when you're out of employment stage, you have to now start paying your own medical cover. However, in your senior years, the medical cover becomes more expensive because of the ailments that are known to attract old age. So when you are pre-retirement at 50, even if you're getting a medical cover from your employer, it's very important for you to start your own retirement medical cover. And you will realize that that is one of the things that will be eating your finances during retirement. So you see there, one of the first thing to do is financially plan for your retirement, then take care of your health care. Make sure that you're able to afford the health care you'll be enjoying in your retirement. Thirdly, when you're retired, you'll have a lot of time. Therefore, you will need social connections. Social connection means people you're interacting with. Probably that is a time when you'll be invited to be an elder to for help your friends prepare for their children's marriage and what have you. So, as an elder, you realize that your social connections will increase. Therefore, you will have to still help to cater for those needs. And then, for your own mental, emotional well being, you need to adjust You need to adjust to be able to have a connection, create a hobby that will be able to help you enjoy a good retirement. And then when you have retirement, you realize even you'll be able to enjoy the longevity of life, and the quality of life will improve. So planning for your retirement helps you to be able to get financial security and peace of mind. In addition to that, you're aware that the inflation rate and the economic factors may be affecting the amount of money that you're retiring with. So it's very important for yourself to remember that in as much as you're planning for money now, in later years, the value of that money will not be the same or having the ability to buy what you're buying currently. So it's very important for you to understand that all those things are going to need money. So you need to start planning for it now. Now, when you look at that graph, you realize that from the ages of 0 to 20, you have no income and no work. That is when the people in your household are still taking money from you by you paying their studies. And you'll also realize after you have been able to take care of them as children, they will be able to move out at the age of 20, 18, 20, while they're headed to campus. When they're there, you start enjoying empty nesting. So when they are empty nesting, you also need to teach them about planning for their own financial well-being, and also planning for their own retirement. The earlier you start, the better for you. The perfect time to start your retirement saving is from your first job, from your first salary, so that you can be able to accumulate money faster and more peaceful. The next time to start, if you did not start when you started employment, is today. So it's very important to understand at what stages of life you're in. Now, between the ages of 20 and 40, you're acquiring a family, you're acquiring a career, and then you'll also realize also your expenses are increasing. If you're living in a bed sitter, you have to move. You have to accommodate the nanny, you have to accommodate the parents that may want to once in a while visit or may need medical attention and you'll have to stay with them, meaning you'll have to have a bigger home. And then your children, now the expense of children have come in, and you have to cater for the expenses. So it's very important to understand at what stage of life you're in. Between the ages of 40 to 60 is now when your children are have finished school, have finished campus, and they're settling down. And you also realize that one will require a lot of money from you. However, you need to be very con, very that word is hard. You need to be very alert that in as much as your child are moving out and going into campus and university when you're almost retiring, you have to be careful that you provide for your younger children's university needs. Why? If you don't provide for your younger children university needs, you will end up using your pension retirement money to cater for their university needs. So be very accurate in your numbers to be able to differentiate your university for your children and your retirement savings, so that you still enjoy the benefit of a passive income in your retirement. Between the ages of 60 to 80, at your early 55 to around 65, you still have energy to work. However, in as much as you have energy to work, you may not have the opportunities to work as much. So even if you'll be doing consulting or business actively, you will find that your income may not be as quicker to get as in your active years. So even if you're able to work, you still start saving from the little income you're getting from there. Then you realize between the ages of 70, 80, 90, and 100, that is the time to sit and enjoy whatever you have been working over the years. And if you have been able to keep something aside, it will be a very peaceful opportunity for you to rest. But if you've not been keeping, you realize it will reach a point where now you'll have to depend on relatives, you have to depend on your own children and the government to assist you to help with your retirement. So it's very important for you start early so that you do not become a liability to your children. All right. So right there you're finding that how are ways to check how your finances are to see where you'll be able to be saving this money from. you realize that one of the ways to be able to save is by having a written down budget. Are you able to know where your money is? Are you able to direct your money so that you can be able to account a certain amount towards retirement, a certain amount towards all the other expenses? Do you know your financial goals? Do you know that at a certain point in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, what are the financial goals I'll have done to be able to create a foundation, a financial foundation for my family, or create an empire that you can be able to live from? So you need to have a written down financial goals. And one of the things I encourage as a financial coach is for each and every one of you to have a financial diary. This is different from your spiritual diary and all the other diaries. This one specifically is for writing and reflecting in regards to your financial goals and your financial investments. Then you need to see what is holding you back from achieving your goals and then work on it. If, for example, it's lack of adequate income, you provided 24 hours by the Lord. If you're giving your employment and your business income 8 hours, the rest 16 hours, you need to account for it and see what more you can be able to do to increase your income. And then look at your business line. How are you able to increase more income from it? Do you need to do more marketing and advertising for your business? If you're in employment, what skill set do you need so that you can get easily promoted and so that you can increase your income? Those are the things you need to look at the gaps. Lastly, you also need to check how you feel about where you are currently. Last week, we talked about your net worth and we said you need to understand the income that you have for 1 year. The income you could get for 1 year multiplied by the number of years you have. That's the amount of net worth in terms of assets and cash value you're supposed to be having under your name at this time. And if you do not have that amount of money yet, you need to start working on it to be able to better yourself. All right. So here is an example of, depending on the different ages that any of the mothers might be at this time, you need to subtract that by the year 60. I've created for you there. If you in 2024 and you're already 60, that means you have already reached the point of retirement. Meaning now, for you in retirement, we have a different conversation. And that is now, if you're already at 2024 and you're retired, we need to help you get what you call an annuity. An annuity plan is where you're able to purchase an income guarantee that for the next 10 years, I'll be able to get a certain income every month or every year or every quarterly, depending on how you want to be receiving your money. Then you, after the 10-year, for example, guarantee period, you will still continue receiving the money for the rest of your living life. However, when we say that you have bought a guarantee for 10 years, you've bought a guarantee for 15 years, it means if in those years, God forbid, you're promoted to glory, the number of years that are left, that amount of money will continue to be given to your next of kin. However, if you are promoted to glory outside your guaranteed years, that money will cease to continue immediately after your demise. So it's very important to understand where you are in life now. I will go to the youngest person in that category, and the youngest person in that category is the one who is at 20. At 20, they have 40 years to plan for their retirement. That's the best time to start. As I said, when you started employment, however, the next best time is today. So try and understand where you are and then work out those years so that we can be able to get a plan for you that be a blessing to you and your family. Now, how do you start to be able to set up a retirement saving? How you start is by, as we said, is at least at a minimum from your normal income, setting aside 30% of your income to pay yourself first. And this 30% is divided by three, where we encourage that you have a 10% of it towards emergency saving. Why? Emergency saving will always be there, and it's very prudent for you as a financially seasoned person, individual, and an adult to take care of your emergency needs without having to borrow. And the goal for keeping for emergency saving is 18 months of your monthly income. That should be the target that you're aiming for. So for whatever income you're in, make sure you times 18. That is the target that you're aiming for. So this one is a discipline over time. Every time you get money, remove 30%, even if it's from your side hustle. Pay yourself first. We call this pay yourself first. Why? Because every other expense is taking money away from you. The landlord, the school fees, the food, the water, all that is taken away, and you see it's a recurring expense. However, the only money that will remain with you and your household is the money you have saved and invested. So the first thing to save is an emergency saving, and this will encourage that you save in a money market fund. If you already don't have an account of or a money market fund, please reach out. I'll be able to help you with that, or put your number or email in the chat section. I'll be able to help you with the same. In addition to that, the next 10% is to help you get multiplication of your saving. Some of that money should go to your circle, some of the other money should go towards your children campus needs, and I'll be able to explain why you need to take care of your children's campus needs as you continue. Then your retirement saving should be, as a minimum, 10% of your income should go towards your retirement saving to be able to help you with a safety net in your retirement years. Then I have given an example there. You're seeing the two old couple there. Is for you to determine how much money do you want per month in your retirement. If you can comfortably be able to say a figure that you can be able to live on, multiply that by the number of years differing from a century. If you're retiring at 55, you multiply by 45 years times 12 to be able to see how much of a fund you need to create. If you're retiring at 60, you have 40 years. If you're retiring at 65, you have 35 years. So work within the program that is suitable to your needs and according to your environment. Then I've been able to do some calculations for you there from the illustration to show you how when you start early, it's cheaper to be able to save and you gain more. Like for example, this 25-year-old started saving. He'll only need to save for 25 years to be able to get his target of 10 million. And you see, he'll only need to save 34,000, for example, per month. And the savings that we are introducing you to are savings that are protected from tax. And I'll be able to show you next the difference between the pension saving with your employer and the retirement saving that I'll be able to introduce you to. Now, you see, for the one who's 25, will get their money sooner because they'll have saved for 25 years. They'll get their money at 50, so they can easily retire at 50. The one who's 35, we were working with a goal of 55 years. The one who is at 35 will have 10 years. 35 will have 20 years to retire to be able to get the 10 million goal. The one for 45 has only 10, and you see, for him or her, the compound growth that they have to be able to reach the 10 million, they have to save more, up to a minimum of 84,000 per month, which is quite hefty. So with all those different saving, you realize that the 25-year-old has much more money, and they'll have been able to double their investment by gaining 22 million, the 35 19, and the 45 at 14 million. However, this retirement saving comes with a free life cover. That means because you're taking care of a responsibility in your household, in case anything should happen to you, your household will continue to enjoy a benefit of a free life cover that will help them grow and take care of the needs that you are taking care of from your income. So it's very important to not only consider what you're keeping aside for retirement, but how to protect your members of the household for the income that they are receiving from you. Now, with the 25-year-old, it will mean for the rest of their living life to 100 years, they'll be receiving 62,000 per month comfortably without any taxes. And then the 35 will be receiving 63, and then the one who is at 45 will receive 46,000 for the rest of your life. However, start where you're able and then be able to grow your fund depending on your target account of how much you want to receive when you're retiring. Now, I need to explain to you, as you are seeing in the next slide, the difference between a corporate pension and a retirement saving. Now, a corporate pension is what your employer gives, like NSSF and the other retirement savings they save for you as a pension. That one is money that the employer and yourself have kept aside, but that money is kept for you and you can only receive it from the age of 55. However, when you're receiving the money at 55, the government will take 30% of it as tax for any amount above 600,000. Why? The government is for planning themselves with your retirement savings, and you are not remembering that. So you need to plan for yourself because no one is planning for you. Also, it creates for you a disciplined culture of saving because it's deducted at checkoff, so it doesn't have to come into your hands for you to save. In addition to that, how it's calculated is your basic income minus the pensionable amount, minus the NSSF. Whatever is left is what is taxed, up to 20,000 per month. In addition, now the difference between that corporate pension, which is handled under Retirement Benefit Authority, we have the retirement savings handled by Insurance Regulatory Authority (IRA). This one, you receive a tax relief of 15% of any amount you save up to a maximum of 5,000 per month. Let me get that again. For any amount you save, for example, you're saving 33,000 per month. From that 33,000 per month, you have a right to receive a tax relief that reduces your pay as you earn up to a maximum of 5,000 per month. So that is for an amount of 33,500. Then at maturity of this investment, now when you're retiring, you will be able to get all your money plus all accumulated bonuses tax free. It's the only retirement savings that you will do that does not have any taxes attracted to it. And it also comes with a free life cover to protect your family and your children. And it will also give you a culture of saving. Now, how do you consolidate your pension and retirement saving? First of all, you need to sit down and write what with every place that you have ever worked and find out, did they have a retirement saving for us? Consolidate that by putting it under yourself under a free retirement saving. We call it personal retirement saving plan for yourself. Why do you need to do this? Because you need to know the condition of your flock. You need to have visibility of how the pension that your former employer had kept of you, how it is doing and how profitable it's growing. Also, you remember that when it's under the employer, these companies change, they get resold, and also you realize sometimes the people you are working with may not be the same people who will be there at the point of your retirement. So it will still be protected by law. You'll not be able to access it until you're 55. However, you still have visibility of it instead of it going to your HR. That we can be able to help you do. You can easily reach out to me. Now, you realize that the fastest man in the world to run, apart from our own Kipchoge, was Usain Bolt. He trained for 4 whole years to be able to run, for 9 seconds, and he trained for months and years. Why is this important to you? Every deliberate savings you do will be able to help you to achieve your goal. So do not despise the small beginnings that you have. Save diligently, be honest with yourself, and be faithful to your own self, and you'll see your money grow. Now, I still reiterate to the life cycle. When you start, you're saying right now this job is not the best. I'll start saving when I have a little bit more money. And then you say at 35 you have a little more responsibility, the children are going to school. Then at 40 you start thinking, now I need to think about the future and the future of your kids. And then when at 50, just before pre-retirement, is that when you start rushing things and you see time is not so much on your side. Then at 60, now when you're fully retired, you start wishing you had planned earlier. Today is the time to plan Today is the time to use your knowledge so that you do not regret it in later years. So, always endeavor to leave a legacy. As I reiterate, there are 4 generations that are depending on you: the generation before you, your father and mother, yourself, your children, and your children's children. All of them are depending on you. So please reach out to me, start a plan. And how much do you need to start as a minimum? 100 shillings a day, 3,000 shillings a month to be able to give you a plan that is affordable to you. Now, the beauty with planning is you need to also to know the return on investment. You realize that the return on investment for most pension plans are an average of 10% per annum. However, the retirement savings, averagely, if you have 10 years to retire, the return on investment is 40%. If you have 15 years to your retirement, the return on investment is 60%. If you have 20 and above years to retire, the return on investment is 80%. It can even double, meaning if you're putting aside 10,000 and you have 20 years to go, you'll be receiving 8,000 for your retirement. That is a fund that will be growing for you. So please plan today. Now, as part of planning, we have what you call educational planning for your children. It's very important for your information to understand what is currently happening in Kenya. Currently, our lecturers are being paid 50% salary. Why? Because the government is not able to sustain the the university funding. Why? You realize there are so many requirements that the government has to take care of. So it is a responsibility of the parents, where the parents are being requested to chip in. And as the lecturers are being paid 50%, you realize also the students who are being provided for through help loans are not being given 100% funding to be able to take them to university. Why? Because that fund is supposed to help each and everyone who applies. So they have to prorate it according to the needs of a household. If you can be able to prove economically that as you cannot be able to afford anything, they will be able to give you up to maybe 80-90%. Then if they're able to see in your household you have a mother and father working, the amount that they are going to give will be reduced. And it's for your information to note that for the first premium for your HEB loan, it will attract an interest rate that will be paid by your child because you did not plan for them. And your responsibility as a mom and dad is to enable your child to be able to gain a meaningful education that will help them to be independent of you. Now, you will realize that primary education was to help your child learn how to write and learn languages. Secondary education was to help your child understand themselves and understand the career path they'll be able to choose later in life, to be able to enable them to go to university to get a skill set that will be able to earn them an income like yourself. Now, it's very important for you to ensure that please go to the description of educational planning. It's very important for you to understand that your responsibility as a parent is to help your child be independent of you and to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. How they're able to stand on their own 2 feet is by you planning for their scaling up. That is university education. And you realize when you're getting an university education or any educational planning, you have to ensure that this child is able to go to school while you're there or not. That means while you're providing for them in person or you have been promoted to glory, you have a guarantee that this child will still be able to go to school beyond you. That's why you are saying taking care of 4 generations that are in you. Even if you're not having children, you have to provide for them. And then when the children comes, you'll realize that it only takes 3 years for the child to start getting an education and gaining school. Now, you have only until the maximum years after you have gotten your child to save for them is 17 years. If you do not have children yet, you need to start early now before they come, so that you can be able to enjoy the beauty of compounding. Right now, primary is affordable and there is access to very many schools within your budget. That's the beauty of living in Africa. There's affordability across all household and across board. And then you'll realize after primary schooling, there is what you call junior secondary for 3 years. The options are still favorable and affordable, and you'll find that most junior secondary, the children are going back to school. No, not back to school, back home. So they're able to live at home while reducing the accommodation fees you could have paid now. Senior secondary, the children are now living in school, most of them, and they now starting to understand themselves and the cost of life they would like to take care of. It's still affordable compared to university education, and university education is expensive across the globe. And this is where your child will be able to get skill set that will help them get income generation. So your role as a parent is to help your child skill up so that they can be able to stand on their own 2 feet. All right. Okay. So why is your child's education important? First of all, in campus, that is where they will be able to get a career, to be able to grow themselves. That is where they'll be able to gain an understanding that will take care of them for the rest of your life. So when you're planning for your child, start planning from university. Once you have taken care of university education, that's when now you can start planning for secondary, senior, and secondary junior, and then primary. But if you start the reverse from primary to campus, you realize you may end up using your pension fund to take care of your child's university needs. So, how do we begin the educational planning for university? Is to understand where the age of your child, then how much time do they have to them attaining the age of 18 when they're supposed to go for campus, and then start listening to them. What are their desirable course? What line of work do they want to go to take up? And then how much will it cost them? So it's very important for you to understand how much it will cost them across board. You start looking at the different opportunities that are there for that course in Kenya and abroad. And then how much is it likely to cost you? And then start setting aside for that opportunity now every month so that it's cheaper for you. And then now I want to show you what curriculum based education in Kenya looks like. We have 2 years for preschool, that is PP1 and PP2. That is where they are in playgroup. Then we have lower primary where it is 3 years, that is between the ages of 6 and 8. Then we have upper primary before they do their neck exam, that is from the ages of 9 to 11. So it's very important for you to understand these grades and the stages of where you are, so that to be better advised and plan for your children. Junior secondary is 3 years, between 12 and 14 years. Senior secondary is between the ages of 15 to 17, also 3 years. Now you realize that the current education is different because they are trying to emphasize on the skill set and on the strength of your child to be able to give them the right career. This is one of the best education that will be able to assist your child for them to get fulfillment in life. So it's very important to understand and also participate with your child what the career they want. Now, I've given for you there a sample of how much school fees it is for different career. You'll see medicine, depending on where you're taking your child to school, ranges from 306 to 612. And you realize at the end of the day, in as much as medicine is that much, these fees are for 1 year. So you need to populate them. For medicine is 7 years, engineering 5 years, architecture, computer. You need to know how many years this child will be in school, and then know that in those years they'll be in school, you have to provide for them. And you, as you see from the next slide of a child, the burden that is on the value of education at any one time, you realize that at grade school, from what you see there, that is a simulation of yourself. The grade school fees are not much. Can move to the next slide? The grade school fees are not much. You're seeing the fees are a bit smaller. As you're going, grade school is primary. As you're going to high school, the weight increases, and then as you go to college, it's even a bigger weight. However, if you're able to provide for your children so that they do not have to take student debt loan to be able to cater for their school needs, it will be much easier and much helpful to you. So please help your child not to come out of school with debt so that they can better understand themselves and better align them to start their life well in good footing. We In front of you is a university fee structure that was there a few months back, and it will also witness from what I had been able to capture earlier that the most expensive education is medicine currently at 612, and you need to multiply that by 7 years, and that does not include tuition. No, that is only tuition. That does not include upkeep and household maintaining that child and their pocket money, meaning you'll have to remove much more. So you'll also see in the next slide, I have been able to put the educational fees for different universities that are providing those different courses. So please be able to start engaging your child to better understand them and to be able to guide them and also guide you on how to better save for them. So this is for a national public university. As you are aware, the private university are a bit more expensive than what I've been able to sample here. So when you're doing your calculation, also note if you're taking your child to private, it's a bit more and it will require you a bit more. And please note, this is only the tuition. You have to factor in the books. The books you can factor in 100K per year for a minimum, and then you also have to factor in school trips, especially for those courses that require creativity, engineering, architecture. There'll be a lot of school trips. In addition to that, there is also what you call interning. There'll be 1 year of interning after they finish school, which they still need your provision to help take care of them. So, what is your responsibility? For you is to know where you stand. For you, it's know thyself. Once you're able to know thyself, you're able to start to set your goals. Know the yourself not only for you, but also the people in your household that you're responsible for. Every child has a right to education and good education so that they can be able to take care of themselves in later years. And it is a blessing to provide for our children, and it is a blessing to provide for ourselves during retirement so that you do not come back to that child as black tax. All that is required from that child is to honor you, to love you, and to be a blessing to you. So know where you stand. Write your financial goal. Set your goals. Know where you are. Track where your money is going, and see that some of that money should be kept towards your goal. Then start seeing where you're losing money on. Start spending less on useless junk that is not adding value to your financial goals. Then do a review. If you have debt that is consumer debt that is reducing your income, see how you can be able to quickly finish up with that. Then start saving some surplus money for, as we said, for your children, for emergency saving, for retirement. Then create more sources of income. You have 24 hours. You need to create more income to be able to meet all your needs. Then make sure you check the inflation so that it does not eat on the saving and investment that you're doing, so that you have a balanced portfolio. Then always look into the future. Remember, the future is waiting for you, and you're gonna enjoy it only if you had planned for it well. Then this is a cycle for financial freedom, needing you to repeat the process. Now, today's footprints are tomorrow's legacy. Whatever you're doing today is what will advise and help plan for your tomorrow. So please remember, tomorrow is waiting for you. You have to plan for it. You have to be able to see how you can better yourself and your the generations in you. Your children and your children's children are all looking up to you. Your spouse is looking up to you. Your parents are looking up to you. Please do not disappoint them. Do better because you know better now. I'll end there and take some questions from whoever has been able to put in some any feedback. And then below next are my contacts for you to be able to reach out to me. My social media handles, I'm Hannah the Financial Coach across all social medias, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. There are my emails and my phone number. You can be able to reach out so that we can continue this conversation. And all you need to start for financial planning is just the decision to start. Money is a mindset. The same way you know you need to wake up every day, go to work, create an income so that you can be able to take care of your needs. So review your mindset, review your financial goals, and let's engage. Thank you. I will hand it over back to Dr. Jemima. Please, do you have any questions from our audience? Daktari?
Vicky, kindly put me back on stage. Hi. Thank you so much, Hannah. It was wonderful to hear from you. Let me just flip this. Yeah, it is wonderful to hear from you. I can see here Verocella is saying very interesting learning from you. That's not exactly a question, but at least it's good feedback.
Thank you, Vera.
Yeah, I think my question would be in terms of education planning, where can we also plan for our kids in case of death or injury? What is your thought on trusts and such?
Trust funds.
Yes.
All right, that's a good question. I can help you be able to set up educational endowments for that, um, that come with a trust fund, meaning that for whatever you had purpose for that child to use in terms of educational fees, that money will be able to go to your child in case you're not there through a trust. And in case you're there, that money will come to your account, to be able to provide for your child. So I'll be able to help you with that. Anyone who would be interested can be able to reach out. Why that is the best, that's why that is the best opportunity for you as a parent is you do not guarantee tomorrow. And the only thing you can be able to guarantee your child is to enable them to stand on their own two feet to be independent, especially for us young mothers, for wheels of a mom. You realize that no one will love your child as much as you do and will take care of your child as you'd wish them to do. But for you, your responsibility as a good mom is to be able to create a foundation and a wing of protection. You will have many things. You have many investments. You have the properties you have bought. You have the lands. You have the shares. But no child below the age of 18 is able to access any of those things without the help of a guard age of 18. So you'll find sometimes the relatives squander your resources, squander your estate, and when the child is reaching the age of 18, when they need their resources, there's nothing to show for it. So for your children, for the purpose of children education, in endowment policies and educational covers, which I'll be able to help you create, are the only place where it will cover you getting an extra income that is profitable to your investment, and also protecting the risk factor of protecting the unknown future for you and your child. So I think I've been able to answer your question and why it is important. However, that does not negate you from acquiring assets for yourself and your child to be able to bequeath them with inheritance, for real estate, for land, and circles and shares. Everything that you do, you need to do in a portfolio. Like the way you're having your wonderful meal this evening, you need to have a balanced diet. You have to have your proteins in check, your vitamins in check, you have your starch in check, and your fruits. If you concentrate on only one side or only one class of food, you'll be able to do a disservice to your body. So have a balanced portfolio. Everything has in its place in life. So choose wisely, and God will bless you, and you'll be able to do better financial decisions for yourself. However, we will all make it to take our children to campus. That is our prayer, because none of us are dying. We are meeting Christ in the clouds as he comes to receive us. So please be prudent. like the talents that Christ told us. The one who had five gained five more. The one who had two gained two more. Don't be the one who buried their talent in the sand, expecting for miracles. Miracles do happen, but you also have to be prudent. Thank you, Dr. Jim. Daktari, Dr. Jim, any other questions from our viewers? Daktari, you're muted. Okay. As we wait for Daktari, oh, here
So
she is.
sorry about that. For some
It's
reason, I
okay.
just logged off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but thank you once more. I don't know the direction of my camera. There we go. Yeah, so thank you once more. I don't know if do we have any other questions. I can see we have 10 minutes. Perhaps you may have something you wanted to talk about further.
Yes, I'd like to challenge every parent who is out there to start doing estate planning for their child. That is, apart from your spouse, who will look for a guardian who will be able to take care of your child and also mentor your child and create a good relationship with your child over time. In addition to that, even as you're doing financial planning for yourself, involve your children. For myself, I started financial planning at the first training that I was able to do was in class one. I trained a group of four other girls where we would save money every day. We would save 2 shillings with our pocket money of 5 shillings. So at any one point in the early 90s, one would have 10 shillings to use, which was a lot for us. So this financial planning that you're critically learning here, please educate your children. Help them to understand in their own humble way. Please do not shield them from learning. In addition to that, start making it a play by buying something called Monopoly. Monopoly gives you money that is plastic, but you can be able to buy houses with it and you can be able to play with it. So let your children be involved in learning about finances. In addition to that, when you're going to the supermarket, please give them an amount of money and let them enjoy the beauty and the honor of paying for their own purchases and getting something on their trolley so that money is not a foreign thing. Help them to be comfortable with money so that when they get money, they do not splurge it like the way the gaming millionaires get money today and tomorrow it's not there. Help them to be comfortable with money. However, there's this thing that people have often said that you pay your child to do errands in the house. No, help them to understand the honor with working, and then help them understand how they can be able to generate more income within the talents that they have. There are so many young children who are millionaires and billionaires. Start helping them to gain that understanding. In addition to that, we have a money market junior where the child has your name and then you hyphenate by the child's name. This will help the child have a sense of responsibility that they also able to save for themselves and they are able to earn interest. And every month they'll be able to see the statement on how their money is growing. Encourage them to start having these things, which is better for you than saving that money in a cabs account or a junior account in the bank. Why? Because of the interest rate. You realize when you save in the bank for your child, the interest rate are not high. They're around 2 to 4%, which is lower than the current inflation rate of 7. However, if they're able to keep money in a junior money market, the interest rate is double, which is 13, and the child will also have a sense of purpose and joy that they have some responsibility and they're able to gain some money. Lastly, introduce your child to budgeting. If, for example, you want to buy for them a piece of clothes or some toys, help them know the value of that toy by looking at the prices. and then help them to start budgeting for it by saving up towards that toy. And then also the honor of them going, you take them to where it's supposed to be bought, and them buying the toy. Do not shield them from you going and just bringing it home. No, let them participate in that process. And then also in your household budget, allow them to give their input. Let them learn about what is going on, why we cannot eat chicken every day. Help them to understand about the value of money and what it means. Start talking to them early. This will be able to help them preserve wealth when they are starting to earn. Dr. Jem?
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. In fact, you've reminded me, mom used to
Mm-hmm.
give us 10,000 back then. Between
Mm-hmm.
the three of us, we figure it out what
Yes.
clothes we are going to buy.
Nice, nice,
And
nice,
I think
very
we've
nice,
taken that with us along the way. I
nice.
think that has been very, very fruitful. There's something I wanted to ask, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know whether we can address it today or next time. It's
Okay.
this charmer. You know, as women, we know how to come together and have
Yes,
money
yes,
collect in a pool.
yes.
What would be your suggestion for a women's group in terms of finances? Would you suggest merry-go-round, or what would be a smart way of going about it?
For me, I believe that everything that you do with money, it has to come with purpose. What is the purpose of that chama? Is it to just keep money? Is it to grow your fellowship and your social networks? Is it for you to invest later? If for you to invest, the money that you're bringing together should be put in vehicles that will earn for you, and not for you to chovia, remove a bit of it every other time. Or is it supposed to help you in table banking, like a pool of fund where you're borrowing from each other? Or it's supposed for social networking where you travel the world and post Instagram nice photos. So everything you do with money, it all boils down to purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing? Once you're able to understand the purpose, you'll be able to differentiate how it's working for you and fit it in your plan. Like for me, most of my chamas, what I do for them, the purpose for how I align them is for the birthdays of my family. So for every birthday of my family, I've been in those months, I've put certain chamas. So I know I'm getting money for that time to be able to celebrate my family. So I don't have to struggle. You're seeing the how I am aligning it, and the same time I'm able to keep the fellowship of friends. You understand? Another charm I have is celebrating parents, where we able to keep aside some money, and then every so often we go and honor our parents. Know the purpose. Assign your money. If you don't assign your money, you realize you'll start being bitter. I have saved for years with this chama, there's no progress. Chamas are not an investment plan if it's not an investment group. So know the purpose. The same way, I do not advise for people to save in circles if you do not have the intention of borrowing. And that one I'll be able to take care of in the next class next week. That whatever you're doing, know the purpose. If you're in a circle, you're there to borrow. If you're not there to borrow, you're doing a disservice to yourself. You would have put that money in a money market and gain your interest monthly rather than waiting for a whole year to get some dividends. Know your purpose. Once you know your purpose, that's what I was telling. I was sharing to the mothers, even if you're doing education, even if you're doing retirement saving, it's for what purpose? You have captured it. And you don't keep all your money there. We still need the real estate. We still need the shares. We need the bonds. So have a diverse portfolio balance, because in many days after you've cast your bread in the waters, in the many waters, in many days it will come back to you, and it come back to you profitably. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. And I hope next time we're talking about these portfolios. Yeah?
Yes,
So
we are.
awesome. So I'm happy. Thank you so much, Hannah. You've been an amazing, amazing resource. And today we have kept time to the
Yes,
T.
we have. Yes.
So I'm really grateful. If you've joined us today, I hope you have learned. I hope you have started planning for your retirement, started planning for your baby's college. Mine is 10 months, but we are planning. They're planning for
Nice.
university. We've been told that's the way to go, okay?
Oh,
And
super.
I hope to see you next week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. East African time. If you're any other place, we'll adjust for you. And so grateful. Please subscribe, like, share, and Hannah can't wait to be with you next week as well.
Awesome. All right. Stay blessed. Good night. Good night. Good morning from wherever you are. Bye.
Be blessed. Have a good day and
As
evening.
well. Bye.
Bye. Bye.